Today marks day number 52 of the $1,000 account challenge, and we are up. We are green, $436 on the day, or 6.46% of the total portfolio balance. Now, if you don't know, my name is Gates. I'm taking $1,000 and I'm day trading options to see how far we can grow this account. Today, I actually took 2 losing trades and 1 winning trade, yet I was still green on the day. So I'm going to talk about how that happened. The answer revolves all around proper position sizing. So starting with the day trade watch list, we had AMD as a short idea below $200. AMD shortly after the open does break below 200 and pretty aggressive sell here below the $200 level. On the rally up retest, I go short on AMD at 200, looking for it to stay below 201, and it does not do that. So the stock rallies up above 201, and I wound up closing the position out for a 20% loss right here. Now, I did only have 1 contract on AMD, so again, proper position sizing here prevented this from being a loss that was multiple hundreds of dollars. The reason why I sized down on this trade is because of the magnitude of the sell initially and then the rally back up. We did not have confirmation that AMD was going to stay below $200. So I sized down because we did not have rejection confirmation. I was only taking the entry on the assumption that it would stay below 200. So entering on assumption without confirmation means that I'm going to size down on the position. So I size down here, take the 20% loss, and from a percentage standpoint, that is a significant loss. However, from a monetary standpoint, not that big of a loss. You do get the break back below 200 over here, the rally up retest, and then the move down lower into the low of day. So this type of trade would have worked had we gone back in on it, but I did not go back in on the trade because I was in the Boeing position at the time. So AMD started the day off with like a $30 loss here. Apple, next one on the watch list. This was a long idea today above 173. And this trade actually worked. You know, AMD, I would consider it to be a loss/win on 2 different trades. You know, the first trade being a loss, second trade being a win. Apple, I would consider this a win or a loss on the same trade, because what we get is the break of 173 right here, the rally up to nearly 175, and then the pullback hold of 173 as support. So we go long on the dip for the rally back up to the high of day. We're up about 15% on this position, and I did not take my profits because I was looking for 20. So I was looking for the high of day move. Unfortunately, we don't get that. We get the pullback and then the move back down below our entry point where I closed the position at. Now, originally, my stop loss was at 173, so you might ask, Gates, why did you close it out if it didn't break 173 here? You could have profited on the way back up. Well, what I saw was a series of higher lows being formed on Apple, and I thought that if it was going to give us the high of day move, that it should continue to make higher lows. So when Apple made a lower low, this to me looked more like a pattern known as a double top, where it breaks the neckline right here on this candle and then continues to sell. And I did not want to get caught up in a position where I was in a situation where the stock was continuing to sell down even into the low of day, and then me having trouble getting out of it. So I closed Apple out for a 7% loss right here. Now, originally the stop loss was at 174, right? So stop loss looks like that, and the potential profit margin, let's just say up to the high of day, looks like that. So reward well over the amount of risk that was assumed. But when the stock rejected up here, it kind of had me a little worried that Apple was not going to give us that high of day move. And then we get the larger sell candle here, puts us back to break even basically, and then a 7% loss. I was like, okay, I'm fine getting out with a paper cut here. However, I will consider this to be a win or a loss, because if you take the entry with me here and you get the move up to high of day, we were up 15%. So you should have had the ability to take some profits, at least at a minimum 10% on this trade. And then if you do wind up holding through, you get another opportunity over here to take your profits anyway. So multiple holds of 173, I will count this as a win. I will also count this as a loss just because personally I took a loss on it. So Apple lost about $100 on this trade. This puts me red on the day with the first 2 trades that I took. And then the third trade that I took, which put me back green on the day, was Boeing. It was a short idea below $193. Now, this one I had more conviction in because the stock on the daily time frame has a very beautiful descending triangle setup. This is a stock that has been holding above the $200 hold number now for what, almost 2 months, and forming up this descending triangle, which is a bearish breakdown pattern. This morning, we get the gap down below $200. So not only a break below the whole number, but also a break below the pattern, and it's a reaction to a negative news catalyst. Boeing initially tries to hold the pre-market lows at 193 as a support, which is our trigger level. Boeing short below 193. Tries to hold it as a point of support, does not do that, and then you get the aggressive sell-off below 193. This, to me, does serve as confirmation. So the difference between the AMD trade that I took, where I sized down on the rally up retest, versus the Boeing trade that I took, is that Boeing has volume coming in on the break of the trigger level. So that, to me, serves as confirmation. I'm using not only the break of the pre-market lows and the break of the trigger level and the break of the low of day as a confirmation, but also we have volume here as well. So I size in more on this trade than I did on the previous two trades on a rally up retest pretty close to 193 for the move down. Now, initially, we are up about 10%. I did not take my profits on this position, and maybe I should have, to be quite honest, because I was down on this as it rallies back up. My stop loss was at 193, but I'm holding out. None of these candles are really breaking over 193 and holding. We get the rejection of 193 and then the move down to the low of day. Now, I do take off some of the position at the low of day, around 15% profit, and I take the remainder of the position off at 20% profit. And I probably should have left some more runners because this continued to sell even further. However, I was happy to just be back green on the day, get rid of those two losing trades, and have somewhat of a sizable profit. So that puts us up with those three trades, $436 on the day, or 6% growth in the account. Not our $1,000 day that I've kind of been aiming for lately, but half of that, and I will take that even after two losing trades. So that's it. I hope that this video has helped you out. The key takeaway from this video would be position sizing. Size up when you have confirmation, sizing down when you don't. Thank you so much for your time and watching, and press that like button for me if the video has helped you out. Also, consider subscribing to the YouTube channel if you're not already. It's just the best way to support me and this type of work that I do, and it's free to do. Thank you so much for the love, and I will see you tomorrow when we continue the $1,000 account challenge. Cheers.